To learn about the off-grid lifestyle and to be inspired to live your dreams, click subscribe so you don't miss anything. Hit the bell notification. So today I gotta change the oil in the generator. Now my generator is what they call a quiet generator. It's an inverter generator. It runs at 56 decibels. That's about the conversation level, about the same volume that I'm talking to you. You can barely hear it. I'll be running it outside and I can't even hear it over the air conditioner. The neighbors can't hear it, so it's very quiet. It's 2,000 watts, Champion generator. I'm not sure they sell these anymore. They had these squared generators and I had two of those. And then they had this one for a short while. And then they went with one that is like this, but it's yellow. And it has an LCD screen and tells you how long it's been running. And it's extremely hot here. Now, I haven't been running the generator that much. This last several couple weeks, I've ran it quite a bit. I've been running about 5 hours a day, 4 hours a day, something like that. That means I got to do maintenance on it about every 100 hours. And the reason I've been running it is the air conditioner. You may be able to hear the air conditioner right now, don't know, but it's running right now. So I can run the air conditioner off my solar panels during sunny days. I'm sure you can see how sunny it is behind me. So the solar panels, I have 800 watts of solar panels, and the air conditioner is around 500 watts. Now the air conditioner is really strange. When you start it up, first thing in the day, it runs about 450 watts, then it goes up to 500 watts, and before you know it, it's up to 600 watts. So about 2:30, I take it off the solar panels because at that point, the solar panels can no longer keep up with it. It's trying to charge batteries. It just can't keep up with it because you still got the refrigerator running. The other thing with solar panels, the hotter the panels get, the less voltage they make. Now, if you don't believe that, just Google it. Solar panels were manufactured, I think, at 78 degrees, 77 degrees. So every 10 degrees over 78 degrees, it loses 10%. So when you get up to a 98 degree day, you've lost 20% of your panel. So instead of making 100 watts off a 100 watt panel, you're making 80 watts. So you got to run the generator. And the way I'm figuring it, this generator only uses 1 gallon of gas for every 11 hours. And the way I see it, that's about $27 a month to run the air conditioner. Now, we don't run the air conditioner all the time. We run it from, I would say, 11 o'clock to about 7 o'clock. Now, at 11 o'clock, I put it, like I said, put it on the solar panels. And then at 2:30, I switch it over to generators. The generator I bought last year, I think around June, it's ran pretty much the entire time. There was a month or two that I didn't run it during the winter. The one thing I don't like about this one is this one has always had a little bit of a smoking issue. It burns oil. There's a low oil shutoff switch on the generator, and you have to change the oil about every 100 hours. So here's the deal. If I let it run down to the oil level shutoff switch, and that's about 100 hours. The last two I had didn't burn oil. I like Champion a lot. Instead of a Honda, a lot of people buy Honda generators, and you can buy the same size Champion generator and save 500 bucks, and they work just as well. I've had this generator right up next to a Honda generator, and you really couldn't tell a difference. The Honda generator is 2 decibels quieter than this generator, but it's not noticeable. So anyway, in order to change the oil, you just open up the cover here. There's some screws here that you got to take apart. This is not a big deal job. As a matter of fact, I did it once like in NASCAR pit crew. I tell you, my grandpa really got me into my love of tearing engines apart. I actually had one time thought about starting a small engine repair shop. Apparently when I was really young, my grandpa identified that I knew righty-tighty, lefty-loosey from the very get-go. And he always tried to encourage me to hone my skills with mechanics. Well, he moved away from us for a couple years. To me, as a child, it seemed like forever. But for a couple years, he moved away. Now, what I'm doing here is, this is the inconvenient thing about all these suitcase generators. You got to dump it over in order to get the oil out. Of course, then the gasoline leaks all over the place. Now, I ran the gasoline out of this last night so I could do this. So he moved away, and I didn't get to see him very often, you know, just during the summertime for those couple of years. And we ended up moving closer to his house. Well, one of the things I do to make things a little easier for me is I dump my oil into this little hand sanitizer bottle. I used to pump it in here, but that just slows things down. It's so much easier to pour the oil in here and then just pour the oil into this thing. A lot easier. So they give you a funnel to go with it, but the funnel, it's messy and it collects dirt. This thing, it doesn't collect dirt. So this is what I do. But back to my grandpa. My grandpa, after I moved closer to him, we actually, I think it was, what, maybe a block away from him. And he encouraged me to start a lawn cutting business. And I had, I don't know, 5 or 6 different lawns I cut. And our first project together, he took this old lawnmower and he sat out there in the driveway with me in the carport. And we tore that thing apart and got it running and painted it blue. I remember it was blue. And I bet that thing lasted an entire summer. Well, I don't know, the next summer, my stepdad was using it, and it just died. So I took it over to there, and we tore it all apart, and I remember he studied and studied. My grandpa was a carpenter, he wasn't a mechanic. And so he read all the books he could read, trying to figure out how to fix this lawnmower. Never did get it working, so he actually took it over to somebody else's place, and they got it running for him. But I don't know, a few years later, we ended up rebuilding a smaller lawnmower, and I liked that one a lot better because I was so small that this one was easier. Then now, of course, he passed away when I was pretty young. I think I was 13 when he passed away. His life lessons on repairing things, I think I don't know if it was natural. I mean, according to him, my ability to work on things was natural. He was just teaching me what it was and how to work on these things. But to me, it seems like he set me on a course. But my entire life, I've been a processing type of person, very mechanical. I think in terms of mechanics. So, real quick, I've went ahead and I've replaced the oil. 10W30 is what it recommends. Always run the right recommendations. You run anything else and you can overheat your engine. The next step is we're going to take the air filter off. These things are really easy. You just take this little cap off, and then you have this foam air filter. This thing really never gets that dirty. The chainsaw and the lawnmower has a foam one also. Man, they get dirty real quick, but this one just never seems to get dirty. I like these foam air filters because they're washable. You can take the soapy water, here I have some soapy water, and you just do that. It's real simple to do. My entire life I've been a very mechanical person, and I think when I'm not working on mechanical things, I'm actually things that exercise my mind. Seems to make me happy. You know, I say mechanical things, and that's true. I'm enjoying myself right now. I can sit here and talk to you. I can work on this generator. And to me, I feel like, hey, you know what? I'm giving this generator a second breath. You know, just a good cleaning. And to me, it actually seems like I have a better relationship with this generator than I do with some people in life. And it just fascinates me. But, for example, I've been studying on how to cut trees down. And I found out that really cutting a tree down is a mathematical process. My entire life, I always thought that cutting trees down was an art form. This guy can look at a tree and he knows exactly how to land a tree. He's going to cut a notch here and he's going to do this and it's going to land perfectly. It's not an art form. Because when I was thinking that it was an art form, I would look at a tree and say, yeah, that's a tree. But I have learned that I can actually measure the height of a tree using a stick. It's fascinating. What you do is you take a stick, and the stick has to come from here to here. That's how long the stick has to be. Then you hold it straight up and down. So it's straight up and down. Then you point it at the base of the tree. And you start walking backwards until the stick is taller than the tree. When the stick is now right at the length of the tree, that's how many feet away it is. You just measure how many feet it is, and that will tell you how tall the tree is. And it's fairly accurate. That's a triangle is what they're doing. You're creating a triangle, and that's how you measure a triangle. And I thought, oh, math, science, engineering, mechanics, it all applies. And so once there was all of a sudden some logic, mechanics, mathematics, I was like, oh, I understand, I get it. So now all I have to do is start applying these principles to my tree cutting, non-tree cutting skills, and maybe I can actually start to learn how to cut trees, and it's not a guess anymore to me. There's science to it. I really do appreciate that my grandpa took the time, the short amount of time we had together, highlighted to me my skill sets that he identified when I was very young. So, thank you, Grandpa. Thanks for watching.